would actually be a big vote of confidence for KT bailing out of what was a very difficult start to LCK Spring.
That is quite true. Even a win would feel great for KT. Sandbox is the only team to take a one-game win up against this team. If it were me, I'd be banning out Chovy, but that's just me. I feel like Tarzan can play pretty much anything, and Viper is the same. Lehens has proven that as well. And as you said, you don't really want to ban out Sword here, but they do go ahead and ban out tier list to start off Thresh, known as pretty much the strongest support right now.
Remember, there's another way you can do it. You can come in with a strat you're really confident on and ban the champions that work against the strat, because usually you want to ban against the enemy team, but if you can't, then maybe you should ban towards your strategy. We can't know that till later. Now KT have to ban Ezreal on blue side. I guess they don't want to first pick it, and Zenit, to his credit, has largely been finding wins on non-AD carries. So banning away the Ezreal makes some sense. Lehens and the Frostmancy that Griffin have done, or the double relic shield, has propelled himself to some pretty high gold Galio support builds, so they're going to take a Galio ban as well. A lot left open that could be considered the Yasuo first picked in this series 1 week ago. Let's wait and see what Griffin want to consider with their final ban.
A Gragas ban, which is quite interesting. It's another one of those supports that can be put alongside the Yasuo in the bot lane. And okay, BDD saying, give me the reins, I'll do the carrying.
And what do you pick into LeBlanc is a frequent question in solo queue and also in pro play. Very dominant mid laner, but no flex about this. We're 9.3. Some of the flexes are gone. Therefore, first pick LeBlanc over Urgot, over Yasuo, over a lot of picks that people would consider. We'll see what the lock-ins will be from Griffin. Seems like they're going to claim a flex pick of theirs in Vladimir and potentially an entire bot lane with the Vladimir Shen that isn't always something I'm a big fan of, but certainly scales into big-time relevance.
Yeah, and it also is League of Shen. That he does love his Shen. Could be bringing it out here. That does leave the Alistar available if you're talking about other supports that love to knock stuff up and play alongside Yasuo. Alistar is the obvious one. They don't ban that one. They want to take away the jungle of the Gragas potentially as well from Umti.
Don't know about you, but in some drafts I'm kind of rocking up back and forward thinking, okay, we're going to see the pick, and you see LeBlanc and you think about things that can work into LeBlanc and you say the word Zed and you wonder if Chovy would give us his first Zed. That would be a really
You're going to keep the whole chat awake
I
right
am.
now.
I'm keeping them away from
you're
bed.
putting them to sleep if it doesn't get
well, you know,
if it doesn't get picked here.
When Nuke Duck played it over in LEC, that means it's competitive play ready as far as I'm aware. We're going to see potentially a jungle Aatrox be picked up here, at least the Aatrox taken as potential flex. This would be the matchup we saw in the previous game that usually in the LCK has been very LeBlanc favored, and it turns out that in the first round, you can head to bed.
All right, guys, that's it. Head to bed. You can go take your nap. As yeah, Zoe versus LeBlanc coming in here. Lots of flexing still left available for both of these teams, at least with the Vlad and the Aatrox here. So definitely some stuff to take note of as we do move into second bans. Kalista going to be denied here alongside of that Alistar.
They seem to be wanting to make Alistar very accountable, because at this point, when we saw the Alistar not picked up, you knew KT would take it because it does, again, play into a potential Yasuo bot lane if they want it. And now you're taking away Kalista to give Alistar kind of that free laning phase, where after 6, Fate's Call means you can go in with reckless abandon. As Snowflower, traditionally a playmaker, and get away with it. Double 80 carry ban here, as a scaling choice of their own is going to be denied. Let's see how Griffin are going to approach bot laners right now. You increasingly think it might actually be just this Vladimir Shen duo.
Yeah. The Sivir would have felt fantastic alongside of everything else on the side of KT, especially the Aatrox that needs that extra speed up, that just want to dive into that backline and go head forward, head first into the play.
You would assume that Tarzan must have been playing a lot of Kindred in offstage matches, because it's a pick that has actually never worked for him in pro play. It's not necessarily one that I would own as a Tarzan pick in the past. This, of course, would be right in that wheelhouse, and they're going to roll with what Humble Life couldn't put together, the Shen and Nocturne synergy, in order to look for reliable picks and build full damage and have that overshield with the Stand United.
Kai'Sa nearly immediately picked by the side of KT alongside of Urgot, so that does confirm the Aatrox into the jungle. And and a very strong lineup, actually. I feel like drafted here from the side of KT. We'll see if they can read into that Nocturne play and try to shut that down as well.
So Smeb got away with Vlad into Urgot, but was that more about the misplays and the plays? It seems like the thought here from Griffin is yes, because they're going to take Yorick Mari into Urgot in the top matchup that we had on the weekend, last weekend, in a matchup where Urgot is going to be under the microscope here. Urgot is very, very reliable. We know what he does, but Yorick Mari can be really overwhelmingly annoying in this lane, and it can certainly snowball one way or the other, where both of them might have trouble just entering lane against the opposition.
That'll be an interesting one here. Umti going to play something that Tarzan debuted in Korean competitive play with that Aatrox into the jungle, whereas Tarzan gonna show us how Bono should have done it and how Hanwha Life should have done it in game number 2 of the previous series that we did just cast about an hour and a half ago now. It was a while ago now.
There was that extended break. We take a slight pause so the coaches here can shake their hands. Want to make sure that's all in the books. No excuse, the summoner name there for the KT coach, and it's just such a weird quirk of the system to have a rematch 1 week after the first round robin. Same teams, once again, this LCK summer rematch. Doesn't feel like it's going to be that epic duo of series to complement what was an amazing 5-game best of 5 for the LCK Summer Final, just because KT are in such a different spot ladder-wise, but the ladder doesn't always matter. KT showed that against SKT in what was a very competitive series. In this game 1, you already talked about the tier list champions. There are definitely some picks that could hold value, and if you get Yorick far enough behind, there's a possibility that you get blown up by both opposition, Urgot and LeBlanc, and snowballed through. But because it's Griffin, because the nameplates are on, it's very hard to tip that to happen.
It is as well, and Chovy once again will have his hand on the Zoe for game number 1 of match 46, our first matchup of round number 2, KT versus Griffin. Some big cheers from both sides here in the LCK arena, as Griffin not messing around here at level 1.
Friday night, 8 p.m.
Smeb.
Face check.
Don't do it to the KT fans. Oh, you did it. Well, see you later. Face checks the brush, and Griffin seem like mind readers once again as they catch a very sad Smeb Urgot.
Oh, great. Vladimir got the kill. That's a bad sign. He's now...
Oh, he's got a Dark Seal. Great.
Ruby Crystal, and he had 2 stacks. You are just hooting and
hollering
hollering today,
funny to
Valdez.
me. I don't know why. It's just like literally the worst thing that could have happened to start this for KT.
I guess if he'd started Dark Seal and not bought his pot yet, he could have had 550 gold to spend, and that might have been even more annoying, because 350 gold for Dark Seal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we're right up there in terms of bad feels with obvious gold spent at level 1. And that means that Vladimir and Shen, they don't necessarily have a lot of experience advantage. That's not how it works anymore in League of Legends. But they've definitely got a tempo advantage. And some of those Q trades are going to hurt just a little bit more than they should.
That they will. They get that Vlad just a little bit farther ahead.
Wait, what happened on the bot side? Thank you for this replay, by the way. Let's find out.
He saw the Yorick.
So it's all about the vision here, the fact that Yorick was seen on the bot side. I guess that is what gave impetus here. So this is actually an excellent replay. It looks like a replay that doesn't mean anything, but they're telling a story. What they're telling is the Yorick is sighted, so of course invade for counter vision, right? What happens when you get invaded on?
Yeah.
You invade the other quadrant of the jungle. Smeb gets the call was wrong.
It's kind of like little plays like that. You can see the thumbs up from CV Max too, as it seems like that was definitely a set play. They're like, okay, we can do this, show the Yorick, bait the top laner into checking, and, well, gives the big thumbs up as if they needed to use the special cheese play.
That's the weird thing,
up
right?
against KT in this game when they're 9-0.
That's the part that was dawning on me as you said it, is like, holy crap, that is 200 IQ.
Yeah.
Save that play. Don't let it be shown. This is where CV Max is like, broadcast team, what's up with this replay? That's a better replay than you pulled all season.
Yeah, I know. Is there a bit of bias towards us? You're trying to get us our first loss?
I mean, in the spirit of competition, probably,
yes.
right?
I'm sure Riot would love it if Griffin, wouldn't just win every single game. Although there is the tipping point where eventually you're like, well, we want this narrative to play out, right? We want this 18-0 team.
I think it was a really good discussion of this. If you saw, I don't know if you saw this one, Valda, some of our fans would have seen the interview with Dracos talking about, you know, G2 and their dominance and potentially playing Shaco mid and how they should interpret a team that just looks wantonly dominant in the league. And, you know, we have that. We have Griffin in our league who's very similar in just what they've been able to pull off. And there's always a lot of different ways to look at it, because I know I would love more candidates for a, on paper, amazing 3-game series for Griffin versus a team. Like, that's the ideal.
Yeah.
But there's also, when a team is playing at this level and there's replays like that that show kind of the next level things they're doing, as Chovy does take quite a lot of damage from BDD in a tricky matchup, you can also just sit back and learn something about the game and appreciate the nuances of what allows Griffin to stay ahead. Because it's not just, wow, these guys click their buttons well. They also out-macro you in little ways like that that can get you similar leads.
Sometimes all it takes is one kill to really sway a lane in one direction. I mean, thankfully, at least for KT, it's not like the kill we had in the first series of Dalman versus Hama Life, where it's LeBlanc and Lee Sin. They just shut down the Syndra, and she's essentially useless for the majority of the game afterwards. But sometimes it's all it takes. One mistake, as we haven't engaged down on the bottom side. Lehens, he's ignited. He's going to taunt away, though. One last stun. He's going to be able to flash away, though. The empowered Q by Viper, trying to do enough damage to Snowflower. Not quite enough, as a very extended trade ends up being actually even towards the end.
No item lead for Lehens. Doesn't have a Ruby Crystal for that to be a bad calculation. Just such on a sliver. With the extra shield coming from the passive. Omti's here. Not level 6, of course, so can't go for an insane turret dive. Puts down the deep vision, and it does spot Tarzan.
Spots him here, in position, just running straight at Omti, actually. Is going to take a hefty amount of damage on his way out and won't be taking any fights there. But you can see also just the sustain of the Vlad is going to be feeling a bit better, as he does have the pot. And no pots left on the side of Snowflower and Zenith, so they're going to have to go for that first back.
Sustain advantage can be relevant. There's no charges of the refillable either for the Vladimir, but like you mentioned, does have on command healing. Exhaust, Thrift Shop to put down just to allow Chovy to stay in lane. No backs yet for either mid laner, but you're seeing what we didn't see as cleanly in game number 2 of the last series. There is a meaningful CS lead for the LeBlanc. Does help that because there's a Nocturne side of Griffin, there is a lead also in terms of jungle presence in the early game that forces Chovy to play on the back foot. Snowflower took a whole lot of damage freezing this wave.
He's low. Went down to 95, it looked like there. But he did have vision of the Shen and moved far enough up to see also Viper. So wasn't too worried about that, but is going to have to go for a back. We got this Infernal first, too, which could make some action happen early on in this game.
Should be something that KT are thinking about, finding a way to start. They should be communicating back times and trying to play around that objective, because it's one that they have the invitation to, given that Tarzan is on this Nocturne. The solo lanes are in a really good spot for KT as well. Should be first rotation from mid lane from BDD. So for now, at least, it's another one of those early games, another one of those game ones where KT are in no bad position 6 minutes in.
So he picks up another exhaust here. Always pretty nice. The second the LeBlanc hops forward, you can lay that down, try to land a sleep trouble bubble, something like that, if the LeBlanc is not in his timing.
Very interesting first buy from Zenith. Look at this. He bought boots and also started to work towards a Bilgewater onto way to a Blade the Ruined King. The boots purchase, the surprising one to me. Not always something you're going to get this early into the laning phase. Might have just been a quirk of a, I guess, 1,200 gold value back, but either the back timing or the item purchase here, I do find surprising. Can chase for some of those extra autos onto the Vladimir potentially.
Yeah. Chovy taking a lot of damage, but Tarzan is nearby. You have to wonder whether that was a bait or just a nice little trade there from BDD, as he ends up picking up Redemption.
Level 6 on both junglers. Nice. They know they're here.
Yeah, Tarzan gonna spot him out, puts down a ward. But you can see lots of pressure already by the side of KT around that Infernal Drink. And even around this blue.
It's around the side of the map where they should be stronger at this point in the game, so you understand the invades. Lehen's not level 6 yet to instantly respond. So right now we are zooming out to see the bot lane positioning. KT have first response to this, and Tarzan's just happy for it to release.
Oh, bottom lane. Human Plate comes down, but, well, actually no. None of the action does end up unfolding here, as the trade will be important. A lot of mana gone and a bunch of health as well, as Umti is continuing to push in here.
LeBlanc shows back in mid lane. Remember, Lehens has ultimate to move over, so Tarzan doesn't have to give this up. It's reset once.
Okay, in comes the fear, but Tarzan takes a hefty amount of damage. Even a swing by the blue buff, that gets him insanely low. We'll have to rethink how long he stays around here, but you can see he's even considering going down to the bottom side as low members of KT remain there.
Do notice he has no other camps to go to. Only now the Wolves respawn, so this is the best use of his time. Waiting to combo with Griffin. Lehens walks up. Gonna claim this blue. You'd have to assume Umti gets it finally.
Plant used here. Red buff gone on Tarzan immediately, and it seems like just the win will go the way of KT as he is able to snatch away the blue buff from the side of Griffin.
And already, even though this is a micro victory, you say, okay, you got pressure in the mid lane, pressure in the bot lane, and you stole an objective. Is it the Infernal you wanted to sneak? No. But it's something. And micro wins against a team that has only lost a single best of one. Speaking of that team.
Okay, going in with the Paranoia here. Has that Submarine Sen coming in. But the ultimate is proc, the World Ender. The question is, can he get away? Waits to flash afterwards, and he will, in fact, get away here. Snowflower in position to help out just in case, but they don't need him. The Paranoia just traded for that flash.
Flash timing there, good from Umti. If he flashes any earlier, there's a real chance it doesn't do anything. Waits to ensure no trouble bubble was going to hit him to signal his death after the passive as he died.
Oh, no.
He died.
The wolf.
Oh my god, the big wolf! It's the big
wolf.
bad wolf!
He returned!
He's back!
He's back in LCK!
Wait.
He eliminates Umti, 1 kill to wolf.
Has anyone died to the wolves since, was it Dyrus on Jungle GP? Because it's usually the Krugs that get the kills.
Yeah,
Peanut died to the Krug camp, you remember, at Kesper Cup in 2017. The big bad wolf did it!
He actually did it. Welcome back. Get an extra
Can we get a
kill on the
replay
board
on that
here.
one, observers? Did we get that one? Did we catch it on camera?
Oh boy. And, you know, that's just, that's really annoying for MT, who, that's more of a tilter more than anything.
No, don't worry, it was in a Warrior Enchant shopping timing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
No, we do get, wait,
I thought we were going to get the replay.
I think we might. I really hope we do. I know this is what was supposed to be the action. We can compliment Umti here. His flash timing is good. Flash actually doesn't do anything until he uses it, so well done there. Are we going to track him? Here he goes. So he enters at 100 and what? 8 health? 108 health for this play.
Gotta love the replay.
He misses
here.
his W, just to note. Let's watch this fight. This is actually the battle. Wait, he had 100.
How does he
health.
lose this?
How does he die? Wolf is doing like 40 damage each.
Oh.
Wolf threads this one in. Umti now realizes he's in a bit of trouble. In midair, comes in. There it is! He finds the weak spot of Umti and takes him down.
Wins. And you know what? Tarzan gets the Infernal Drake, which, you know, a jungler dies and loses a bunch of time on the map. Who knows? Maybe he would have been there on time to stop the Infernal.
Is it possible that there's a weak spot, like a sweet spot for the Wolf like there is for Aatrox when he's battling Aatrox? I mean, it's possible, right?
I mean, he kind of just bit him in the face, right?
Well,
showing his weak spot on cameras. Thank you, observers.
We thought the big bad wolf was sent to Turkey. No, no, no. He's back in the LCK.
Yeah.
We also lost a wolf. Wolf Schroeder over in the Overwatch League. Hello to you.
Sent us, you know, nice little message after that one as well.
What do you think the message means, Valdez?
The message?
Yeah, what does it mean? It's a coded message. He's a Griffin fan.
He is. Well, can't blame him.
BDD could be in trouble here.
As Umti, he's mad. He's got a level on Tarzan too. He wants that damage.
Griffin have a kill. Kill was the Vladimir at level 1. Of course, executes don't count. The wolf here, 1-0 and 0. Might have to name it. I know LS has names for the A and B side.
Yeah, Agatha and Bertha.
Yes, exactly. For the Grumps.
I've got them, you know, memorized just in case he's coaching.
Can he be Aaron the Wolf? Aaron can be an A-side wolf.
Aaron.
All right. Well, Aaron, very bloodthirsty in this game. Chovy walking up. We saw he got a very nice trade onto BD's bot lane.
Viper, he's angry, getting on in there. Huge shield comes in for Zenit, including the magic shield. Looks like he picked that up, and he will survive.
So he was looking for summoners there. You noticed that he was able, with his early lead, to get a lot of items for 13 minutes in, gold lead and infernal. He was looking for a flash, doesn't find one, as here's ulti.
Yeah, face checking that one, but the W will sail wide as the pool will be able to dodge it.
Amazing how much of the action was in a replay. But we're back on the Rift. Do you know if there's a different chime when you have this Yorick Mori skin and you pop your ult? Because the cool thing about Yorick is, I found out playing Yorick, is that there's this really cool tune when you pop out the Maiden. When you pop out the Maiden, there's this kind of like beautiful chime that plays. I wonder if there's a hard rocking chime with the pentakill Yorick. There should be. Free ideas.
You would assume so, right? I'm always a fan of you know, new stuff in skins like music and interesting little tidbits for sure. So, would like that as well. See Proto Belt finish here for Viper. He just gets to be annoying. Up against Zenit, who does have a decent amount of sustain himself with the Blade of the Rune King finished here.
Vlad's level 9, close to 45% CDR. I think he's around 41% or 39%, because you're taking these scaling 1 to 10% in the top tree of the stats, and you also have Transcendence, which will be live soon. Actually, no, I'll tell you a lie. I'll have Transcendence very soon, but it's level 9, not level 10. So we'll be very close to 45% CDR when he gets that level up. Regardless, going to be obviously super annoying with the Stain. Huge information lead here for Tarzan. He's got a ward, and Umti doesn't know.
Well, that was a visual bug, not just pretending to face check as the fight will begin in the bottom side, actually. Paranoia, though, going into that back line. Kai'Sa in a lot of trouble, is going to try to ult away. They both flash over the double swipe right in the face of Alistar and the Kai'Sa. But can Smeb turn it around here? The fear beyond death, but he's all alone. As what is going on here? Griffin trying to take as many members of KT away as it's just the remnants of a dead fight on the side of KT. Looks like 4 kills, maybe 3 of them do go the way of Griffin in that fight.
The vision lead there was the big reason they got that lead, similar lead to how they got a lead at level 1. And you know somewhere Vedius' mouth is still agape. The Nocturne passive got a double kill instantly.
It's the dream, right? You got them both in front of you. They both have so little health.
But what are the chances your passive is back up as well?
I know.
We're going to watch the replay here.
The timing.
You know, some people, they have different things that get them going. This, for sure, is Vedius' dream. We're watching the replay. Remember, the summoners are still up. They were trying to be blown earlier, and here it is. Oh, man. Plus 600
Thank you for that sound effect as well, Papa.
We were all thinking it. Not often that an Urgot actually gets to kill a Vladimir, given that Vladimir's pull gets him away from the fear beyond death. He's chased down, though, the death not in vain.
Tarzan, 3 kills picked up on that little turnaround. He's feeling pretty good about himself right now. Picks up a BF sword already as that GA is going to be really quickly down the pipeline here for this Nocturne.
You know, I kind of wish he flexed and built an Infinity Edge. He's already got the stopwatch, right?
Yeah, come on. Just do it one time.
Less troll than on the previous patch, much more viable now, of course.
Yeah.
Viper and Lehens, they got the turret first as Shen and Vladimir. That tells you how this game is going. This duo lane not known for their laning potency, but they got the early lead, they got the kills, and now the Nocturne super fed and Sword and the Maiden taking down the Infernal with his girlfriend. A happy Friday night date for the Yorick.
Why not? You're eating well. That's a whole dragon for you, the wife, and all the kids.
I don't know if they're married yet, so you shouldn't assume.
Well, okay.
But the kids are still around.
The maiden and the 3 kids that are just there.
It's 2019. People live progressive lifestyles now.
Sure, sure.
Griffin going to take both objectives. Oh, that feels terrible. This game's already a little bit silly, Valdez. They just got Infernal and the Rift Herald as Vladimir is out of lane first.
And a Mountain, you know. Don't forget about that. They don't have an 80 carry, and their Siege is basically Zoe. So that's going to be a fantastic Drake for them.
KT, they really have very little agency on this game right now. The Rift Herald will force them to move. The sheer amount of damage already on the Vladimir no doubt can force them to move. LeBlanc has been wailing away and having a good laning phase against the Zoe, but increasingly that means very little. Yorick and his girlfriend are back bot lane, and no one wants to enter that lane. LeBlanc's going to try, but it's after the turret is dead.
Yeah, Smeb's up towards the mid lane, as it seems like there was just a kind of missed timing there, as someone should have been there to at least kill the minions and stop the push, but just a bunch of extra gold go the way of Sword and Griffin.
Are we really full zooming on cool back animations?
What a play. Yeah, well.
What's your take on Vladimir's skins? What's your favorite one?
You know what? It's hard for me because I don't remember all the names, and
that's okay.
In the Korean
Describe
client,
them.
It's just like
what does it look like?
The one that's farthest to the end, you know, I always assume is the coolest, but I don't play enough Vladimir to really, you know, experiment with all the different skins.
I was always a huge fan of the Marquee Vladimir, the one that's very Castlevania inspired with the blue coat. Mostly because from release, it's always seemed really small, so it feels like invisible power. We are dumb on
smaller
gaming.
hitbox, right?
We are dumb on gaming talking about invisible power with their special meds to get better in the game. And
yeah,
what's wrong with some Marquee Vladimir, right? We did actually get an update
sure.
on that. They're talking about traditional Korean medicine like ginseng and things like that. We should mention that out loud, otherwise it comes across
they're not
a bit
actually,
dodgy.
you know,
as far as we know,
popping some, you know, well.
No pills being popped.
Maybe some secret information there, given that way. I feel like that legendary skin for Vlad is one of the ones that was done pretty well.
So the Bloodlord one was always big because the animations were cleaner, so actually last hitting was a lot easier on that skin. That's one of the kind of edge cases where it always feels weird to evaluate, because yes, it's not invisible power, but especially if you're not a good player like you and I, it is very valuable to have the last hitting skill. Look, we're Wood 5.
Why do you gotta include
We've confirmed we're Wood 5. Are you going to say Wood 5 is good now?
I mean, it can be interpreted as good. We're good at something, which is losing. And,
it's true. We're consistent also.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda
That's something we ask of many of our pro players.
Are we the GRF solo queue?
Well,
we're not the Griffin, that's for sure.
Yeah. We don't play enough Annie. I'm sure LS would be very angry.
So I was on a 7-game losing streak in solo queue recently. You can confirm it. It's out there. My account's Papa Smithy. I snapped it with a Annie support game. So,
there you go.
You know, it's a pick I enjoy too, but LS made it famous. So shout out to LS. I needed that.
You just got to listen to the coach in our lineup, you know? He knows what he's talking about.
Roaming gank by the girlfriend.
You never take me out anymore, trying to join KT as, well.
Really? I don't know if that's the smartest career. I think Griffin's the place to be.
Yeah, I don't agree. As we're entering a different kind of lull state here. Griffin having their fun. They're about 6,000 gold ahead. And the Sweet Hat already done here.
Are we going in?
They're going okay. They say, Alistair, we don't care. We love all types of meat. We'll be eating beef tonight, and, well, that was pretty easy for them.
They knew his ult was down, and then his health bar was down, so that's the only information that Griffin needed. We're getting the full zoom on everything today. I like how the sword is still through his heart, literally.
Yeah. It definitely feels like our observers are
look,
having fun.
Vladimir needs kills.
Trying to get on in there as BDD's clone does go down, but that's just about it. BDD just barely making it out of there with the skin of his teeth.
I don't have any analysis. They're just
dunking
on
I guess
them.
we're done here.
They're just dunking on them, Valdez.
Alrighty then. Well,
well, you remember how the telecom war actually lived up to what it could be? Unfortunately, game 1 here is the opposite of that, where it really isn't a LCK Summer rematch in hype levels.
Yeah.
KT were dunked at level 1 from macro. Some micro moments have gone against them. The macro also was hurt, and now we're talking about girlfriends and support Annies breaking losing streaks.
Yeah. Well, Chovy zoned Zenit out of even getting close to that Infernal Drake if they were thinking about it. As BDD, I doubt he's running straight at them. I've got a good read on the visual bugs on the. I've been casting this patch for a while.
Costa, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, it is an Infernal Drake, so KT's going to start it and say, well, let's fight.
TP coming in. As the flash comes in on a Tarzan, but he's got a GA. They're going to blow a lot to get on top of him. Will the turnaround come in here? Tarzan trying to flash away into the paranoia. They want to turn out to Sword, but it's not enough. Viper getting into the back line, going to end that World Ender, and a huge Emo Plague comes down.
No one dead yet.
Yep, trying to get on in there as one goes down. Make it 2 as the double kill comes in for Viper. Make it 3 as everybody's on the run, chasing the cow down the lane. As well, not much else to shout about here. The Zerot portal is done. And, yeah, nice little fight there. 5 members go down, and it's a total slaughter, guys.
We call it chasing the loss. When you are behind and you say, well, why don't we try and get an Infernal? Wouldn't that be nice? They don't get an Infernal. They get 5 trips to the graveyard. Yorick Mori approves. They're going to take down this inhibitor turret, the inhibitor. They can't end the game, but this game is over.
Yeah. Well, I said that maybe one of these days, one of these teams is going to step up and actually challenge Griffin, but I said maybe it was today. Well, game number 1 does not tell that story, as it's 11-1. Nice zoom in there as well. Let's take a look at the replay.
They come in about, what, 7,000 gold behind to start this. To their credit, they blow up through a shield from the Shen in that one, but unfortunately, Tarzan gets to swag walk away. The Urgot ult misses the insult upon injury, because actually if the Urgot ult hits there, Smeb might actually be able to go 3 or 4-man Fear Beyond Death. That one, just like Khan the other day, is going to go very wide. And then Viper says, ooh, another pentakill, potentially. Can't quite get it, but that was really the only thing on the mind after the early play.
And so Griffin find themselves with double Infernal. A Vlad that is insanely out of control with Zen picked up here for the Kaisa.
Zenit might be going for a Rage Blade third. He won't finish it because the game will be over, but he has the Wit's End Blade the Ruin King for a lot of on-hit synergy with this build, and the Shred also would play into that with the Shred on Wit's End and the Shred on the Rage Blade. Does mean he's a single target build, and big unfortunate thing for most AD carries against Vladimir's. I guess Kaisa kind of has it a little better than, say, Callista, but you kind of have to R just to get away from the Hemo Plague after he just rushes at you. And after that, you know, there's not a lot of safe places against a Griffin squad that right now have died once. Shame on you, Viper. You are the only death on your team for this game, but otherwise we'll be unleashing a whole lot of hell. What are you looking at there?
I'm trying to see when the next time
is that your star
Griffin
sign? Is that your star sign there?
Play is.
It's next week.
Well, I'm trying to see it, but I don't actually see them in any of these games for next week, so that's a little bit confusing. I guess it's possible because in the second round we moved to 4 days a week, so on the schedule it looks like the next game is actually SKT on the 3rd of March, or the 8th of March, rather. As we actually have some action. We stop looking at the sheets here as Hemoplague nearly kills BDD on the backside, and here's Sword. He wants some kills too. He wants the action. 2 kills come in. BDD basically dead. Viper gonna pick up a 3rd one here on the top side. Smeb, he is Urgot, but he is Urgon right about now, as looks like they may just push for the victory.
You know, it will be a welcome one. The storyline for this season from week 1 was New Blood Rising. Griffin are the team. Second split in, sophomore split, but no sophomore slump. They're 10-0 at the end of today if they win this series, and they're definitely going to win game number 1.
Oh, they're going in for the kill. He actually gets it. Viper is going to Zhonya's and not die when the Nexus goes down. GG. Just got to pad their KDA stats a little bit more, as if it wasn't already high enough. As we say similar things when Jin Air comes out here, and, you know, unfortunately not able to take any victories just yet. Feels as one-sided as when Griffin takes the Rift against pretty much anyone else. And that kind of feeling does return here to game number 1. Smeb, you can see, trying to rally the troops after a pretty devastating loss in game 1.
But let's explain one clear thing. KT Rolster, when they were criminally far behind in a game they're expecting to lose, did things. They tried things. They did not roll over like Jin Air, and that's why we approach the analysis here different. They ran an Inferno and said, maybe something will happen here, because they knew that maintaining 3 lanes, they're still going to lose by a lot. So try something, be proactive.
Yeah.
KT are proactive, that's why we approach it differently, but we don't approach our analysis on power levels. Griffin is way up there. We can't even see. This roof, unfortunately, doesn't go high enough to show where Griffin is right now in terms of career. And KT Rolster, you know, we don't even say things like defending LCK champions, because it's not informational for the viewers. Unfortunately, the roster changes a lot. They've got some great players. BDD, don't get it wrong. He is still a fantastic player, and around him there are players that on their day can perform. that day was at least not game number 1, because that one was hard to watch.
That it was. I mean, if you're a Griffin fan, surely you're having fun. You know, you're a front runner, the new team of Griffin. You're like, this is my new team. I'm going to join them. And every game they come out and they win. You know, it doesn't happen very often in traditional sports, but we've had it happen a couple of times here in Korean esports. You know, we always mention the SKT, 17-1.
I believe the record for consecutive best-of-3 victories is 13. That's the record that could be bettered by Griffin if they got 14 match wins in a row, and right now it's looking like 18 match wins. So very much a stat they could rewrite. They already had the best round robin. That was 18-1 in the first round robin. They're now 19-1. So 20 games in, they've lost a single game. If you convert that to an essay, they're 95%. So they're feeling pretty good about that particular score there. That's an A+ in any marking scheme, and an A+ performance from Griffin.
Yeah, feels that way. They are going to get to a lot of the harder teams here very soon. They have to play up against SKT.
Who are their harder teams?
And that, I mean, like, other...
Isn't
you know
language so
saying,
hard?
Right? You know?
It's really hard.
The harder teams that aren't them in LCK. So they got to play SKT, they got to play Sandbox. That's actually their, not next week, but the week after that, in fact. So definitely some of the... you know, more difficult matches compared to some of the other teams we have here in the LCK.
Yep, Griffin are certainly knocking on uncharted territory. Like we say, we have one data point, SKT Summer 2015. They keep getting better. Maybe that data point needs to be Griffin Spring 2019. We're getting close to that. The Griffin signs many. I assume that's Ambition in the top left.
Yeah, it says, Ambition says, like, why are Chinese teams strong? Is because they haven't met Korean teams and they haven't met Chovy.
They haven't met Griffin yet.
Yeah. Griffin is what I meant by Korean teams, obviously. They are the Korean team.
I see you're in the MSI mindset of only one team.
Exactly.
Nice one. Nailed it.
There you go. You know, I'd have to agree with Ambition, you know, when you check over the LPL. But again, it's hard to tell, because is it just Griffin is so much better than everybody else, or is it just China as a region being really strong? All those questions and more to be answered after this commercial break.